Thailand's resort island of Phuket has welcomed international travellers for the first time in more than a year. Hundreds have arrived under a quarantine-free programme for vaccinated visitors. The Phuket sandbox is seen as a trial for Thailand to begin reopening its borders later this year. Now, the launch comes as Thailand grapples with its worst COVID-19 outbreak, but Phuket has remained relatively unscathed. It has seen few cases ahead of its reopening. More than 70% of the island's residents have at least received one COVID-19 vaccine shot. Millions of people visited Phuket every year before this pandemic. The country has lost some $50 billion in tourism revenue last year as borders closed across the globe.
By Phuket opening up, do you think the Philippines should follow their example? Because the Philippines is a tourist-based economy also, and they've lost a lot of money over the past year. Countries such as the Philippines and Thailand rely heavily on foreign tourism. Domestic tourism only can do so much, but foreign tourism is what helps run most of their economy. Hats off to Thailand. I think they're doing it right. They're starting out with Phuket, and then by October, if everything goes well, they'll open up the rest of the country to foreign tourists. They understand that foreign tourism is what's going to bring their economy back up to where it needs to be. Countries like the Philippines, at this point, don't seem to get it. If you're not producing anything of significance in your country, and your economy is backed by tourism and money from overseas foreign workers, and there's vaccines out now, in my mind, the logical step would be to do what Thailand is doing. Allow foreigners to come in who have been vaccinated and let them spend money in your country. But instead, the government there is doing the same thing that they were doing back in March 2020. Countrywide lockdowns, making people wear face masks and face shields, no clear-cut plan on how to bring the country out of this pandemic and help the economy get back to normal. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. In my mind, someone there is definitely insane. If I were in their shoes, I would start vaccinating the locals, as many as possible, find a particular area that I would open up first and allow in foreigners with vaccines, and slowly rebuild my economy one step at a time. That's what the Philippines needs to do immediately.